Hello, believers. Hello, warriors. Welcome back to the Christian Market Watch. This is all Chillie, and I can't speak today, obviously. Yeah, welcome back, and thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you and all your continuous support, and I hope that's bringing value for you each episode. And all of you who have liked and commented and subscribed, just thank you so much as well. All of that means a lot to me. I read every single comment that you make, so please talk to me. Love it. You know what I say? Let's support each other so that we can be strong financially and be healthy, so that we can love God and love each other. That is the most valuable thing there is. More than our money, yes, but money is very important because it relates to every other thing that is valuable to us. So by the way, did you notice something different today? I actually have my hair tied up. And that's because I actually got my ears pierced in the weekend. Look at it, it's still a little bit red. It actually is a bit sore. What was it like when you had your ears pierced? Because I've never dared to get my ears pierced until this year because I thought that it would hurt a lot. I was just under this impression because my auntie must have had an infection after she did. And like my impression was ear piercing, like it's just gonna like be very, very painful afterwards. So I never dared to do it until this weekend when a colleague told me that it actually doesn't hurt. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it done this weekend. Verdict so far, the initial pain's not that bad. It's like, you know, like you're getting a needle really. But then I do find it a bit sore like this couple days. So I don't know. I'm trying not to touch it. I'm trying to be good, spraying a lot of aftercare, but I don't know. How long did it take yours to heal? Anyway, let's move on. More millennial woes. That's the highlight. If you haven't finished watching, you can go now. No, I am just horrified this weekend, to be honest, watching Bitcoin drop from 20,000 back down to 19,000. It's since rebounded, thankfully, but it's definitely under a lot of pressure. And this just highlights more and more pain on the millennials, myself included, watching the value of my Bitcoin drop. And I asked myself about 3 times this weekend, should I just liquidate all of my positions? Which means that I would have to take more than a 50% loss. It was painful. For me, I decided to hold it out because, you know, when it's this low and I don't need the money immediately, like what's the point of liquidating it when I believe in the long run that there will be an upside to it. So, you know, and it was also good to see that Celsius paid off 3 of its debts and bringing its liquidation value down to, I think, about, was it 12,000? That does mean that it is allowing Bitcoin to drop further before all of our assets are gone, basically. So thankfully, praise God for whoever's working super hard in Celsius to get this done, because I did see a news article that they refused to file bankruptcy and instead they worked very hard this weekend to pay 3 loans back. Yeah, it was really quite significant, so praise God for that. But why are we experiencing so much pain at the moment is because central banks and the Fed are deliberately wanting to suppress asset prices because of too much inflation. And we know that inflation is too much money supply that they created, not us. And a lot of this money went into, you know, someone paid someone else, and then it ended up in the share market because someone like me or another person invested in the market and put it there. So by causing these markets to drop by many percentage points, causing it to go into the bear market, they're actually wiping off all of that inflation, basically wiping off people's wealth. They should be wiping off their own wealth. They should be cutting spending, but they're not doing that. Instead, they want to cut inflation by destroying our wealth. So this is the convoluted, twisted narrative that we need to be super, super familiar with. Because unless you know this and are very keenly aware and watching the situation, you will be hung without you knowing. It's the boiling a frog syndrome, where you're boiling a frog in cold water so it doesn't jump out until it can't adapt anymore. And as you increase the heat, and then finally the frog dies because it ran out of adaptive power. So what we're doing here in this blog, and hopefully many other places where you're getting your information from, I hope that these vlogs are all serving you one single purpose, and that is giving you the knowledge that you need and the financial courage to secure your own assets and secure your own wealth, so that we don't end up decimated in this process and end up with nothing and trying to be happy owning nothing. And the World Economic Forum, you know, they're against us. The devil is against us. The least we can do is just to be aware. It's really funny because today is the 4th of July in Australia right now, and as we get closer to midnight, 4th of July in the US as well. And it's funny because that is the US Independence Day. On the day that we should be celebrating freedoms, our very freedoms are being pulled. Like you're pulling the table out under the tablecloth and you're expecting the tablecloth and everything on top of it to continue to stay. That's what they are doing to us. They're trying to strip all of our freedoms away and want you to continue to be happy, want you to continue to be satisfied enough to continue working. They're creating a slave system here out of you and I. And the only way we can stop this and reverse this from happening is by being aware and staying close together and helping each other out. That's why I say, let's love God, love each other, care for our financial well-being and our mental health being, so that we can help each other out for times like this, because the worst is yet to come. Let's shift on to the markets real quick. The 10-year yield is ridiculous. I mean, look at this. Remember how when it had this spike right here with a bang up 3 consecutive days, we really signaled with you the ridiculousness about the debt market being completely illiquid and people are taking money out of there faster than you can say jump. And next thing we saw is this, as fast as it increased, it decreased as well. And we know that no one, when people are just panicking and pulling money out of there, you can't just drop down like that, right? And then later on, when it went up again, because you know those people who were panicking before are still panicking, pulling money out of the debt market again. And next thing you know, miraculously, for some reason, it just falls down to 3%. 3%. I mean, look at the way it dropped too, right? Like the other thing I wanted to point out is, look at this step drop. That means some sort of whale, someone with a lot of money is just buying all of that in one shot. Now, who's doing that? Like, which company, which trust, I don't know, which investment firm is doing that? Like, one more time, 2 more times here, you know, a little bit more here, 3 more times, 4 more times so far. Whatever they're doing is just providing artificial liquidity, and you know whatever is behind this, even though we can't see it, is going to be massively inflationary. And this is just going to cause the pain to be even worse, and it's just kicking the can down the road until an even worse final crash. What is the result of all of this fake easing of the liquidity in the bond market? Well, the NASDAQ has rebounded, and very similar stories across the board. S&P 500 index has also rebounded. Dow Jones also. ASX it's a little bit flat right now. Bearing in mind we have in Australia 1 extra trading day, so the ones that we just saw before were only up to last weekend. They are really trying very hard, investors are trying to make sure that the quarter ends on a good note. That's all I can say. Bitcoin, once again, was hovering around under 20 and has come up again since. Bitcoin has been trading through the long weekend in the US. It's trying to hold its ground, and hopefully it will continue doing that. Hopefully it will get back to 20k. That really is, I mean, Celsius has given us some good news. I think that really helped a bit with what number it's on right now, the trends that we're seeing. So yeah, let's keep on working on that. Gold and silver has been decimated because investors are not getting the fact that we're really in a recession yet, and they're taking money out of gold and silver thinking that they can put it back in the stock market. But you and I know that's not possible. The liquidity we have there is fake. Crude oil also under some pressure, going opposite against what's happening in the NASDAQ and S&P and all the other indices at the moment. Same here with Brent crude. In case you haven't figured it out, and I honestly think you do, okay, on this channel, every one of us that's continuing to listen, I am hoping at least that you do. In case we haven't figured out that it's a recession that we're already in, it's not that it's coming in the future, no, it's already here. In case we haven't figured that out and haven't started preparing all of our supplies, stocking up cash, and not spending any money unless we absolutely have to, because you don't know how much money you need for this inflation thing that's going on, and food prices keep going higher, and the IMF is saying that we're gonna have a famine next, which means food prices are gonna be pushed even higher than that. And you need every dollar you have in your wallet just in case you need to eat, you know. But I believe we do, okay? I believe we really understand this, and that's my hope for you. But anyway, the Atlanta Fed last week has come out with its revised estimate. It used to be a bit higher, but it revised its estimate of GDP in the US to be negative 2.1. Now that is very bad. That's negative 2.1%. As we know, the proper definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. And last quarter in the US, we already had the first negative quarter at negative 1.6. And now it has been revised. We're waiting on the final numbers. This is as good as it gets right now. It's now negative 2.1. Guys, we are already in a recession. We don't wait until those metrics come out, because we know the metric is only trying to measure what is actually happening in the economy. And by the time the metrics come out, there's already a lag, there's already a delay. What has happened has already happened for 3 months ago already. You and I have been in a recession, as we discovered today by the Atlanta Fed, that we were in a recession since the start of this year, since January 2022. It's just that we don't know it yet. And I hope that you and I are just aware and alert enough to care enough for ourselves to come out on the best possible position we can on this. Guys, there's no more time to waste. Act now, act urgently, act immediately. If you need to change a job from the job that you have to a more secure job where there is less possibility of redundancy, you need to do that now before the companies cut even more people. Facebook was cutting people, Amazon's cutting people, Elon Musk is coming out with robots to replace your jobs permanently. You know, what can I say? You need to be in a good position now and try the best you can to save up every penny and never spend it on any discretionary spending. You should be cutting down on all of your expenses right now. Look at your credit card statement or your bank statement and look at what you're spending your money on. Like, everybody do me this favor, okay? Or if you are spending cash, please log it into a logbook, you know, or keep all your receipts and read them. That's the easiest way I can tell you about this. You know, keep all your receipts, read through them at the end of a month. Decide for yourself. If I was in a very, very financially stressed situation, how many of these things do I actually not need? And you should be cutting that right now. Cut your Netflix subscriptions, any subscriptions that you have that are not necessary, that's not crucial for survival. You should be doing that now. You should be stocking up on your rice and non-perishables. Like, I just bought a lot of canned food, tuna. Praise God for tuna. You should be stocking up on anything that you need. I saw right now there might be a lot of end of the year sales, so take the opportunity there to go and buy things on a discount, because when the shops are restocking, it will be at an inflated price, reflecting the inflation that's currently going on, and they're just getting rid of old stock. So we're gonna see old stock be sold off the shelves at clearance prices, and then we're gonna see new stock at much higher prices. Bear this in mind, guys, as you're shopping. So while we can, please, anything like rice, staples, canned food, very crucial. Even soap, like I bought a lot of shampoo and conditioner. Ladies, with your feminine hygiene things, if those things are on sale, you should be stocking up on them. what can I say? We need to get ready and we need to help each other, especially if we have the financial means. Like, you should be stocking up enough, not only for yourself, but think of other people that you can stock things up for, and also buy some things that you might be able to trade with someone else with, in case the worst comes to the worst, and you need to swap a bottle of shampoo for some rice. You need to be able to be in that position. So please prepare right now. Please prepare right now. Once more, this reminds me of Matthew 6:21, where Yeshua said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart is." And I know we've heard this so many times, but I want to take a different spin on it. That I know God is talking about store your treasures in heaven, and that's why I said take care of each other. Let's love God, and as a result, we'll love each other and value this connection and this relationship that we have. This is the one thing that should never be stolen away from you and I. This relationship, this love that we have with each other. They try to get us down. They try to put in the cancel culture and try to cancel some of us out of society altogether. But if we stick together, the devil's schemes can't win, and those evil people that want to divide and conquer us, their plots will be lost, because we refuse to let the enemy come in. We are resilient in this manner. You get what I'm trying to say? Do you get it? Really, like, please hear me out this way. And you need to really watch out for your wealth. Let's put it in this way. If you're not caring about your money, and it surprised me as I walked in the shops, how many people are just spending a lot of discretionary money. We should be really careful with our money, because if you're not careful and you don't think the dollar you have is valuable, someone else who thinks that your dollar is more valuable to them than it is to you will come and steal it or take it away from you. Where your treasure is, there your heart is also comes from the enemy perspective, where if you have some wealth and some enemy wants it from you, they're greedy. They don't just want the things that they have. They want things that you have, and they think that what is yours is actually theirs. They will come in any way they can to erode you from what you have, while you are just carefreely and ignorantly spending like crazy. And you're gonna spend to your poverty, and you're gonna be in a very, very horrible situation that God doesn't want you to be in. That's why he reminds you in Matthew, where your treasure is, there your heart is. We should be thinking every day about our wealth. We should be thinking about it. Well, not to be a slave to it, but thinking about and considering our long-term plans and our short-term expenditures. And not only our wealth, we should be learning to love each other and guard each other's wealth. That's what this vlog is for. So I hope that this brings value to you. If you do, please share it. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Give it to more people who need to hear this. We're in unprecedented times. We don't help each other, we have nothing. So God bless you, and I hope that this really wakes you up today. I'll see you in the next video.